Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, Chris Paul II.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7
Don't encourage that.
AJ
Steiny,
Anunoby.
that one has now officially been put to rest. AJ Anunoby, and now it's Chris Paul II. Chris Paul II. I got him mixed up with Gary Payton II.
Gary Payton
So you guys I'm going
Willard and Dibs in the house is crossover.
3.
I dropped a Moses Moody the first the other day just to play along with the bit, but you know.
Well, so it was on purpose, not accident.
Kind of. You get to be our age, Goo, and you're getting closer, and Mark, Mark is... Oh, wait.
I'm still hooping, though.
No.
Yeah.
Stop.
So you remember yesterday's
hooping.
crossover?
Yeah, stop hooping.
Please.
Anyway.
I got a personal text from Steiny. This is my best friend. And he goes, I'm sorry, it's so personal. I love you. And I thought it was about he got personal with Wiggins, but the text was supposed to read he thought he got personal with me. I said, no, that's Andrew Wiggins you got personal with. But you didn't.
No,
and that hurt me. You don't owe me anything.
I guarantee you Willard will be like, yeah, he's right. Meaning me.
When?
At one point, I did say something like, well, that's because you don't understand what I'm saying, or you don't.
At one point, that 5 days a week.
Not today.
That was mild.
No, not today.
Well, then you'll rip him on Saturday when he's not around.
But Willard, the days the text will be coming, the apology. Those are the days, not yesterday.
I wanted to know where the ones from the last 10 days were.
Yeah,
I don't know.
not bad.
I mean, the after the fact, everybody go to their corners apologies they're always fun to me, especially in this business.
I think it's about Wiggins.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that they're not ever necessary. But I don't know, man. Everybody I've ever worked with, there's sort of sometimes it's spoken and sometimes it's not. Yeah. It's just like, dude, it's never personal.
Right.
Ever. It's going to get stupid sometimes.
Right.
And that's...
But I've hit you with two over the course of 2+ years we've had shows, we've had moments where things have happened and we've gone to a break and you and I have exchanged ideas and, the show has ended and we've reflected and it's been my reflection that has been accurately one where, wow, and I've listened back to it 1 or 2 times.
Oh, I do that. I watched the tape.
And I've had a few of those, and it's like, you know what? This one's going to have to be on me. This was on me. And so, and something about Mark and I, we have a very open, our relationship is probably more tender off the air than it is.
How can you get mad at Willard?
Oh, it's pretty easy.
Are you kidding me?
Tune in 2 to 6.
You got something with me.
Let me tell you something.
You can get mad at Willard, but a couple times I crossed the line and, through my own actions and behavior. And so I reached out and said, hey, ABC. And he said, you know what? Thank you for saying that. We'll get him tomorrow.
Wow.
And,
there's nothing more liberating than an apology.
No, I get
if you mean it.
I told that story, I think it was just last week.
Yeah.
With a buddy of mine who punched me in the face.
Oh, boy.
It sure wasn't fast. One of our other buddies in high school texted me that night. He goes, you can tell that story 1,000 times and I'll listen every time. It cracks me up. But that's because he knew both of us. But yeah, man, actually what I love about this, do it today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you drive away and an hour later, a little hot.
But that was nothing yesterday.
Brad waited about 8 years, texted me.
Right.
He's like, yeah, that was probably stupid, but, whatever. Don't let that stuff
I told Steiny we're the longest running show at the station, and he goes, how many shows do you think we've done? I said Dibs or Nahegan can help us find out how many it's been.
Yeah.
But we did an exercise last week, and we said our biggest fights, if somebody could just... And the YouTube chat reminded me of stuff
I don't like to do that.
3 years ago.
I don't like to do this.
I said, you guys are incredible.
Yeah, I don't like to do this.
But there was a few of them, did.
Yesterday's on the phone.
Yesterday, actually. Yesterday didn't. I don't like to talk about
that. That was a 1.2 on the Richter scale.
That might be also receiving votes, but...
I love that listeners have a spot track of the whole thing.
It was incredible.
Back in 2019.
To me, the one I don't mind talking about because it was just so funny when you think about it was Guru and me disagreeing and getting so PO'd about Stephen A. Smith charging for his basketball camp.
Oh my God, that was a crazy one.
Now that one I forgot, but
that was a crazy one.
We both really didn't know a lot about it, and I find myself saying, I'm sure he gives scholarships to some of the underprivileged kids.
That's when I flew, like, doing Stephen A. math. Oh, boy.
That is one of the more nonsensical ones.
We're not curing cancer.
Can I bring up Bob Melvin? Can I bring up Bob Melvin?
Of course you can.
Because I love BoMel.
I was going to say, I'd like you to call him BoMel. He's ours again.
So I read an article in the Chronicle, and he has a mandate about everybody standing for the National Anthem. And he said, and I read it, it wasn't political, but I got to tell you guys, it just didn't sit well with me in our climate that we're in now. You might be taking on what you're trying to avoid by making it. I just went Jerry Jones when he said, everything was going on with the kneeling situation. If you're a cowboy wearing the star, you're going to kneel. And I was like, man, Jerry, that don't sound right.
Or you're going to stand, he was saying.
Or you're going to stand.
Yeah.
But
that just a different story.
And again, I'm not coming at BoMel, but it was kind of odd that he said, I want to show the other teams we're united. But I'm like, what if some guys are like, oh, damn, Willard, I can't believe, they're doing it, but you're really not bonding. Like, I just thought it was odd. I don't know. I just wanted you guys to
It's not that it didn't catch my eye. It catches my eye for maybe and I think maybe this is where you're at, or maybe not. I don't know. Like this, just me now. If I were leading a group like that in sport, I wouldn't mandate one of the like I wouldn't go there anymore. Gosh. Because this is such a well-traveled topic. And what I've found, everyone is so dug in on, and it's very clear. You're on one side or the other.
Okay.
You're on one, and everyone is so dug in to the point where they can't really even try to understand what the other side. So to try to unite that, and I don't know, maybe this is not a very eloquent answer.
No, but
it just feels like you're bringing up something that's like 4 years bygone. I don't think that this is something that really galvanizes everybody anymore. I don't think it's going to show that you're a united front.
Well, it just actually galvanized a women's softball game recently where, and I want to get the team right, I think it might have been Stanford where they're on the road and they had 3 or 4 players kneeling and they were getting jeered by the road crowd and like over the anthem, like stand up and like openly getting lambasted for kneeling during the anthem. And I think it's Stanford. I could be wrong, and I'll double check here in a moment. But if I'm BoMel and I've got players who maybe don't want to stand, I would say to them, you can kneel if you want, or you can just don't come out. And if either one, it's your choice. I would not mandate that my players have to do something that they're not comfortable doing.
I wouldn't say anything to anybody. I was like, do you?
Steiny had an ingredient of Mark Jackson in the church, which he didn't say you had to go, but players felt like if I go, if I want to, you know what I mean? Like, why? And today, why are you making it a mandate? Because it's a big deal. Yeah, and you're saying it's kind of not.
I feel kind of like Mark. It's like, well, this is a dated topic, and I get it. It could come front and center at any point.
Of course, like you can make it a
Cal
topic
softball,
again.
not Stanford. I apologize. Cal in at Louisiana Lafayette.
I was literally saying, were they visiting the state of Louisiana?
Correct.
That was
and
in
this
my
was
mind.
February 12th, and you could see the video. And you hear fans stand up for the anthem, and all the rest of it. And you had like 3 players kneeling, and then you had another couple players go over and kneel with them, and then pretty soon the whole team is like rallied around the kneelers, and they're like hugging them and protecting them, and the whole anthem was marred by these fans, and it was more than just 1 or 2.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
It was 40 or 50 fans saying, "Oh, you need to stand up for America."
We're none of us are going to be alive 75 years from now. But here's one thing.
Watch your mouth.
Well, I can tell you already.
You got the best chance.
75 years from now, I can already promise you something. Berkeley and Louisiana ain't going to see eye to eye. They're never that's just.
Well, they're going to be different countries by then.
Maybe. I don't know. What struck me, Goo, was that was a priority.
That's
what struck me, man. I don't really have much of a reaction at this point anymore. Don't, otherwise. But like, okay, season's about to start, and I'm
trying to make an impression.
Something that's on my top 10 list of issues.
It's just risky or tricky.
Really?
No doubt.
One of your top 10 issues?
Yeah.
No doubt. All right.
You know what I thought, and doesn't mean anything, but he went to Cal. Bob Melvin's a Cal guy.
Right.
Just a little interesting.
Pretty liberal.
Yeah, you would think. The school sure is.
For sure.
Yeah, he went there.
Because Kapler actually kneeled.
I get it. It's not like Cal's never turned out a Republican or a conservative.
Cap won a lot of people over what he did. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, the idea of let's play the national anthem before the game is such a dated modality anyway. And we're in a game now where we have a pitch clock and our bases are so big now that it's no longer 90 feet between bases and you can't knock the catcher over. And there are new rules about like guarding and blocking the base at second and third on tag plays. So if everything else is going to change, can we change this?
I'll never understand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I get it.
That's fair. I also, I think it's fair when people are like, you're screaming at what players or coaches are doing down in the field, but you have no problem going to pee in the middle of the anthem. You're like, I'm gonna go, go get a beer.
Talking to your neighbor.
It's just like, so I don't know. The whole thing being uniform it isn't now, and it never will be. And so I think everybody's gone blue in the face, and it's just like that. It's going to be what it's going to be. So that's all. And again, that's not to just sort of like flick it aside, but it surprised me that was a priority.
Yeah.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Andrew Wiggins back tonight, Milwaukee in town. Giannis looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. I was a little surprised to find out he has not missed back-to-back games this year because of injury. So he's only missed one game at a time. We'll see. Here's what we kind of threw out there today. You brought this up yesterday with, it's time to cut that rotation down a little bit. Well, now they have everybody available for the first time since late November. I'm saying tonight, you only got 9 guys you can use.
We did this.
Who are you using?
I already know what he did. I went through the whole roster.
I missed it.
He's cutting Looney and Sharits. They're off the team.
And
so
TJD.
He did
all 3.
Yeah.
Got one bigger option.
You tell me who you're going to cut then if you want a quote-unquote big. And Mark made a good point, and we looked at the game log. Kavon's getting 10 minutes.
Okay.
He's getting 5 here and 5 later. So if you want to count him in, if you count him in your 9, well, now you're playing 8 because Kavon's only playing 10 minutes.
Right. Obviously, we got the starters, and we got Clay, Chris Paul, and
longest running show.
Pods is starting, so he's part of that top 7, I'm assuming.
Moody.
The one thing about...
Steve said Moody's in.
Right.
So there's your 8.
To me,
that's
Moody,
what's interesting.
Can you have Moody and Gary Payton
I
in
said
the rotation?
no, and I would take Gary, and I love Moody, but Gary Payton would be before Moody.
You can, but I think the whole thing
matchups.
You're just opened up to the same thing that they've been dealing with all year. Whoever ends up on the bench, the fan base can yell about that person the next day. The Golden State Warriors have a roster-wide backup quarterback dynamic issue, which is that the fan base is all turned up about whoever's not playing. And Steve is stuck in this spot of predicting who's going to play well. And if somebody doesn't play well, apparently you're supposed to yank them in 2.5 minutes and go to the other guy, which is not a good way to coach. So I don't know what the answer is, but I do think the rotation needs to be shortened, and therefore there's going to be people who are, quote-unquote, unfairly put on the bench. I would not be surprised if we're only a few games away from Moses Moody being back on the bench again and out of the rotation.
It's possible.
Gary Payton the second, Steiny. You had Moody before him. That just shocked me.
Me too.
In the playoffs, where you're going to have to see Luka and Kyrie. I mean,
he can guard those guys.
There's no doubt.
He can guard them. And
his hands are great.
His hands are great.
How's your hamstring?
Well, that'll give you 2.
Yeah. He can guard 1 through 4, and Moses Moody's a good defender, but he's not as good as GP2.
But and you know what? And that's fair. If you think GP2's got to play over Moody. To me, that's why he put Moody in for Wiggins, because that was a way to get Moody. He didn't have to mess with GP2. Hey, GP2, you're going to start. He can move Moody from the 10th man into the starting lineup. We're going to give you Wiggins minutes, and we can keep Gary Payton II where he's at. Like, that's why in a weird way, I get why is Moody either in or out? Well, that's why, because if you want him in all the time, then it's probably going to cost you Gary Payton II consistently.
Yeah, he's been bringing up, Steve has brought up, how many times has he brought up with us this year math?
Oh, every time.
Like 5 times. Math.
And how many times has he talked about what a pro Moses Moody is? Every time.
I do think there's something to, he's such a pro. What does that mean? He's the easiest guy to screw over.
Well, it's the same thing with Kevon Looney.
No doubt.
Right.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And everybody knows that you do this with your kids, too. Like, whichever one is going to have the tantrum, right? They're all fighting, and you're like, okay, which one's going to lose it?
Oh, boy.
So you tend to take their side. So, yeah, there might be something to this. Look what happened to Kuminga. He's like, okay, I'll be good. Yeah. I'm going to Shams.
Yeah. No doubt.
Played 27 minutes at least every night since.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. Like, I sort of relate to this. Like, sometimes, and maybe Moses Moody is getting closer to this, he might not be good enough yet, but you also have to set boundaries with the people around you. Jonathan finally set them, and that's worked out well for him. Maybe we're about to get there with Moody. I don't think we ever will with Looney.
Well, Moody doesn't have that same leverage, though, and neither does Kevon. And Kevon's never tried to flex. You've never heard Kevon say one word about playing time or role or usage.
It's not in his DNA.
No, it's not.
No doubt.
And Moses can't go and, throw that same sort of a fit like Kuminga could, because Kuminga, if it got bad, he could demand to be traded, and then 28 teams would line up to try to get him. I don't think Moses has that same leverage.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this about Kevon Looney. You just got me thinking about it with Coach Kerr. Dibs, you're right. He's playing 10 minutes or 9 minutes, but for me on my computer, there's no way in heck I say, okay, that's a prelude to what's going to happen come playoff time. I could see Looney getting 17 to 18 minutes game 1 of the playoffs, because you look at the West, they need size.
Right,
and we've yet to see, even if we think Moody's kind of taking a step back, we've yet to see him get blamed for playoff failure. They lost to the Lakers. Not that Moody was Moses Malone, but they lost to the Lakers because collectively they could not shoot. So I'm expecting more of a run for Looney when the going gets tough and you got those trees out there. He's going to get that. Like,
at least to give up his fouls. Give me 4 or 5 fouls if that's what it comes to. I think you're right about that, but we talk about a 9-man rotation tonight, and if you want to add Kevon into that, it's really a 10-man rotation. I didn't have him on mine either, but Mark and I talked yesterday, and I looked at Kevon's game log, and if you look at his last, 50 games, it's 8, 10, 12, 10, 12, 12, 14, 12, 10, 8, 8, 10, 8, 10, 10.
But
so he's getting his 10.
And I think that it's kind of a good point. I mean, just the mere fact that we said Payton or Moody, and I was like, you know what? I could see Moody. I could see Payton. Yeah. That's kind of their inherent problem. Is they've got Steph Curry, Steph Curry, and then nobody else has distinguished themselves.
It's by committee.
Kuminga. Kuminga. He's obviously,
but it is their issue at the top end well as the bottom.
Exactly.
End, which is and we've asked this for a few days in a row. Who's the 2? It's a rotating answer.
And every other team in the West, we can say who the 2 is.
And don't give me the
3 or 4.
Right. Wow. And don't give me the old, that's a good problem to have. Right. No, it's not. Not in this case.
I mean, I think it's got to be Kuminga right now.
The Warriors lack definition. And that is very, very hard to coach, which is why I sound sometimes like I'm
What do you expect her to do?
What do you do? Everyone's like, you're supposed
hot shot?
Yeah. You're supposed to be some sort of a psychic or something. And know that Clay's shot's going to go in tonight. No, Clay's shot's not going to go in tonight.
And if it is, you'll finish tonight.
And then if you miss 2 in a row, it's like, what, you're supposed to yank him out of the game? Like, how's the locker room going to treat that? So I don't know what the answer is, but they better get to it pretty quick.
And they're only 1 game over at home. I know we talked about it yesterday. You got to fix that, man. We're the only one to play a game at home. I'm telling Steiny, are we so sure?
Well, and I tweeted it earlier today what they've done over the course of the last 6 weeks, and they've been remarkable. And you look at where they've gone from where they were on January 29th, they were the 12 seed, and they've gone 14 and 4 over
13 and 4.
13 and 4, Steiny, and you've gone from 12 to 10, and you've picked up like 3 games between 1 and 5 games on the teams you're competing against, and you're still the 10. So
It's not baseball.
if you think about the next 22 and you want to get from here to the 6, you probably need to go 15-7.
Oh, at
minimum.
least. Well,
Yes, coach.
I don't think that gets you.
Mark, ask Goo what how he went through game by game. You might not have heard
The
that
last
segment.
22, you guys were out there.
Did you play,
Goo had him at 19-3.
Yeah, 19
did you
and
play
three.
win-loss
Yeah, we
and you
did.
came up with 19?
But
Did you have him at 19-3?
Yeah, 19-3.
Oh, I was just kidding.
Slater had him
Actually,
at 16 and 6.
accuracy is 18-4.
Okay,
Well,
18
Slater,
and 4.
I think
Man.
Slater was answering a question,
Oh,
though.
okay.
He said, "What do they need?"
What
Who
he
was?
kinda- yeah,
Slater with the morning rose. He got to 16.
Thank you.
So,
Slater.
Yeah, he,
I still need a little Kapler every now
I
and
kind of
then.
ran through it, Willard, but 19, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin trampled underfoot.
I would kneel for the anthem.
It starts
Anyway.
tonight.
Still a 4.
Well, here I tell you what, I'm gonna move to your side of the room a little bit about last Sunday.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
If
I lost it. I don't know what happened.
If it looks
Okay. Oh, yeah, no
if
doubt.
it looks
Yeah.
like that again tonight,
If they lose by 51
That
tonight,
can't happen again.
or
Yeah.
even 30 plus,
what if they lose by like 16?
We're good.
I got to see.
No, it's a bad. If
I got to see how.
132, 116.
if
No,
you
but
lose with
I'm
no
not a-
Giannis, then we got. Hey,
Well,
what's going on?
You heard what Steve said a week and a half ago. He hates it when the best player of the other team is
wow.
out because you can't prepare for it the same. And he goes, and some bench guy comes in with his butt on
And
fire.
they almost beat
G.G.
Milwaukee
Jackson.
in Milwaukee without Giannis. Remember
Exactly.
that? Oh,
So
and no Curry.
I think
Giannis played. I'm sorry.
There are two dynamics, and we've brought both of them up recently. This team has got to start being a more dynamic team at home, and this team has not beat good teams. And
It's incredible,
tonight
man.
you're getting a team that is starting a roadie. They put a lot of energy into winning on Monday, coming from behind.
And they've been playing better since the break.
They've
Milwaukee.
won 6 in a row. Giannis is a maybe. Middleton is a no. And
whoa.
Dame's having his homecoming.
He don't play good at home.
At minimum,
Now, but Dame is fueled off of
Yeah.
going to the Oak Tech Ojai game last
Shout
night.
out. I gave him
Yeah,
love. They're
Oakland
going
Tech
to
with the win.
State.
Dame in the building. Dame comes in, and I would go over 30 for Dame.
Would you
And
really?
I'll be
Shout out
betting it.
Prize
Bobby
Picks.
I'll
Porter's
be
coming
betting
in
it,
hot
yeah.
That's
too.
fine. That's
Wow.
fine.
Bobby
Over
Porter.
under on a fight tonight, 0.5.
Yeah.
With Bobby Porter.
Well,
Stay
Dre
out,
can't
Draymond.
fight, so Dre, yeah.
No,
We
but
hope.
there's no must win or anything like that. But I would say that tonight is a very important game for the Warriors to look very different than they did on Sunday.
That's just one, man.
They've got like this house.
You mean they need to show up?
And the
this has
line was
to-
only 3. Warriors
this
minus
has to
3.
be at least
Tonight?
a
Yes.
competitive game.
You got to beat him if Giannis doesn't play.
There's
you
no
just gotta beat
doubt.
him. Well, I
After
don't care
getting
how.
lambasted.
I'll take no style, but just beat. No Giannis.
Well,
you got to
see,
beat him.
when you're waiting for the answer on whether someone's going to play or not, that's the first place I go.
The line.
What do you think that's telling you that the Warriors are minus 3?
He's playing.
You think he's playing?
No, he's
Why-
not
why
playing
was it
if
so
they're favored
low?
by 3.
This morning it was minus 3. Done. Why? If it's more likely he won't play, you would think that would go to 5 or 6.
Why would you think the Warriors would be favored over the Bucks
If he
Giannis
played,
is
yeah.
playing?
No.
Why would you think they're favored at all? I think that's what Dibs is saying.
Yeah, if Giannis is playing, it's Warriors minus 1, or maybe it's a
Or-
it's a pick 'em and flick 'em.
Yeah,
It's kind of what I would.
Or
I would-
Bucks minus 1
So
or
that
2.
minus 3 where I'm like,
Bucks.
oh, this is easy. But you know.
Right, but I wonder what an NBA player equates to, because you have talked to your odds maker friend who came on our show and he was fantastic. And
Giannis has to be at the highest.
Patrick Mahomes, though, in football is worth, I
Oh,
think,
my
6
God.
or 6.5.
Oh.
He's the highest line moving player in
Giannis should
football.
be up there with Curry.
But I wonder about the association if a player actually moves the line that much.
Well, I think it is different when you have a team like
Call
the Bucks.
Johnny.
Well, the Bucks have another player who has been and can act as an NBA 1.
Good call.
So I think it's teams that don't even
But
have
no
like,
Middleton. He's already out.
I know, but like I look at the biggest line movers might be like a Jokic,
No, yeah.
a Luka,
Steph.
Shout out the
yeah.
Suns.
Yeah.
Big win
Yeah.
last night in Denver.
Huge,
OT.
yeah.
I wonder if
Yeah.
Steph's a bigger line mover now that they're not as good as if he would have sat when they had
Probably less
all the
so.
big boys.
Well, maybe more so like what Mark is saying about having only one. 'Cause
Right.
and we're going to get into this like who's your 2, and
Yeah.
it's a Giants
That's
conversation,
incredible,
and
man.
it's also a little bit of a Niners conversation. Not as pertinent because they have a multitude of 2s, but Giants, who's your pitching 2, and Warriors, who's your 2, and can you win without a 2?
Yeah.
All right, gents, for tonight.
Warriors are up to 3.5.
Okay.
3.5.
Somebody's got some info about an Achilles.
And I like to see Giannis just as a fan. I want to see. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. My son was disappointed on the way to school today when I told him that he was questionable. I started with Giannis.
Wait till you take your class.
Yeah, you're going to see Wemby.
Wait till you take your class to see the Spurs and Wemby sits.
Come on. We went to story time today at the library. I know the bag's on the shoulder, so we're up against it. But it's like maybe 30 kids under 2, and this little toddler girl comes in rocking a green 34 Bucks jersey. She's ready.
Nice.
She had her Antetokounmpo. She was rocking it hard.
I hope you handled that appropriately.
The diaper hanging out.
That's a T.
I said, you going to lose tonight, toddler.
Sit down. We got green eggs and ham on 95.7.
Toddler Trash Talk with Dan Dibley.